You may have heard about doctors telling you that your results are just borderline. Most people think this means they are totally fine and go home without a second thought. But being on that thin line is actually a bold sign from the body that your kidneys are starting to shift. It is a grey area where you have the power to turn everything around before a real problem starts. Well, we are going to look at why these middle numbers are so important. And now it's time to learn how to read between the lines and take control of your health today, the psychology of borderline. So, you get your blood work back and see that normal box checked. You breathe a sigh of relief, right? But here is the fact that most people miss. Those lab ranges are built on a bell curve. They take a giant group of people, many of whom aren't even that healthy, and find the average. If you are sitting at the very bottom edge of that range, you aren't actually fine. You are just a few steps away from a cliff. It is like being told your car tires are normal because they haven't popped yet, even though the tread is almost gone. The scary part about kidneys is what I call the boiling frog syndrome. You know the story? If you drop a frog in boiling water, it jumps out. But if you turn up the heat slowly, it stays until it is too late. Your kidneys are exactly like that. They are so efficient and such hard workers that they can lose 50% of their function before you feel a single thing. No swelling, no back pain, no fatigue, nothing. By the time you actually feel sick, the window for easy repair has closed. We have to stop looking for normal and start chasing optimal. Optimal is where you have a safety net. Normal is just surviving on the edge. Decoding the lab work. Let's get into the nitty-gritty of what those numbers on your paper actually mean, because honestly, the math can be a bit weird. The big one is your eGFR. Think of this as your kidney's speed limit. When that number sits between 60 and 89, doctors often call it stage 2 chronic kidney disease. That sounds heavy, doesn't it? If you have other markers of damage, that borderline number is officially a diagnosis. Then you have creatinine. This is basically trash in your blood from muscle use. If your kidneys were a coffee filter and the creatinine was the coffee grounds, a high number means your filter is clogged. The trash is staying in your body instead of going out in the mail. But wait, there is another test you probably didn't even notice, the ACR. This looks for albumin, a protein that should stay in your blood. If it leaks into your urine, that is the smoke before the fire. It means the physical barrier of your kidney is breaking down. Now, I should mention that as we get older, our eGFR naturally dips by about 1 point every year after we hit 40. It is a natural part of aging, sure, but that doesn't mean we should just ignore it. If your number is dropping faster than that yearly age tax, or if your creatinine is climbing while your ACR is showing protein leaks, you aren't just getting older, you are losing ground. You need to know these numbers better than you know your bank balance, because these are the stats that determine your quality of life 10 years from now. The anatomy of the shift. Have you ever wondered what is actually going on inside those bean-shaped organs? You were born with about 1 million tiny filters called nephrons in each kidney. That sounds like a lot, but here is the kicker. You never get new ones. Once a nephron dies, it is gone forever. When you start seeing borderline results, it means a significant chunk of your filtering crew has walked off the job. This leads to something called hyperfiltration. Imagine a factory where half the staff quits and the remaining workers have to pull double shifts at 100 miles per hour just to keep up. At first, the factory output looks fine, but those workers are going to burn out and quit. 2. In your kidneys, this overwork causes scarring or glomerulosclerosis. The biggest culprit behind this damage is often just floating in your blood, glucose. When your blood sugar is consistently high, it acts like literal sandpaper on the microscopic blood vessels in your kidneys. It scratches and irritates the delicate walls until they become stiff and useless. Combine that with high blood pressure, which hits those tiny vessels like a high-pressure fire hose, and you have a recipe for total system failure. This shift from healthy to borderline is the moment the sandpaper and fire hose start winning. Your body is trying to compensate, but it is exhausted. Understanding this physical struggle happening inside you makes it much easier to realize why just borderline is a call to action, not a reason to relax. Habits hiding in plain sight. It is easy to blame genetics or old age, but sometimes the real culprits are sitting right in your medicine cabinet or kitchen pantry. Let's talk about NSAIDs, things like ibuprofen or naproxen. Most of us pop these for a headache or back pain without thinking twice. But here is the reality. These pills work by blocking certain chemicals that keep your blood vessels open. Specifically, they constrict the afferent arteriole, which is the main pipe bringing blood into your kidney. It is essentially like kinking a garden hose. You are suffocating your kidney's blood supply just to stop a minor ache. If you do this once in a while, your body might bounce back, but chronic use while having borderline results is like playing with fire. Things get even scarier when we talk about the triple whammy. This is a medical term for a perfect storm where someone takes an NSAID while already on a diuretic and an ACE inhibitor for blood pressure. This trio can cause an acute kidney injury almost overnight because it attacks the organ's pressure regulation from 3 different angles. And then there is the salt. You might think you're doing great because you don't use the salt shaker, but remember the 70-30 rule. About 70% of the excess sodium damaging your kidneys is hidden in healthy foods, like whole wheat bread, jarred pasta sauces, and deli turkey. These items are loaded with sodium to keep them shelf-stable, forcing your kidneys to work overtime to filter out the surplus. When you're in that grey zone, these small, invisible habits are the silent saboteurs that push you over the edge into real trouble. Kidney protective nutrition. When you hear kidney diet, you might think of bland, tasteless food, but it is actually about being strategic with how your body handles waste. One of the biggest shifts you can make is going plant-forward. Now, I am not saying you have to become a strict vegan overnight, but replacing red meat with beans or lentils changes the very chemistry of your blood. Animal proteins are highly acidic, and your kidneys have to produce extra ammonia to neutralize that acid. Over time, this acid load literally wears the tissue out. Plant proteins, on the other hand, are much cleaner burners. They produce less metabolic waste, giving your filters a much-needed break and allowing them to function more efficiently without the constant chemical stress. We also have to look at the hidden chemistry of phosphorus. This is where it gets interesting. Not all phosphorus is created equal. If you eat phosphorus from a plant, like a nut or a bean, your body only absorbs about 40% of it because it's tied up in fiber. But if you drink a dark soda or eat processed meat with phosphate additives, your body absorbs 100% of it. That inorganic phosphorus hits your bloodstream like a sledgehammer, hardening your arteries and taxing your kidneys. And don't let the old myths about potassium scare you away from fresh fruit and veggies. Unless your doctor has specifically told you that your blood potassium is too high, most people in the borderline stage actually need more potassium to help manage blood pressure. It's all about the source. Real, whole foods carry the nutrients your kidneys crave, while the fake additives in boxes and cans are the ones causing the real damage. Diabetes and hypertension. Think of your kidneys as the ultimate pressure gauge for your entire body. They don't exist in a vacuum. They are tethered directly to how you process sugar and how hard your heart is pumping. Most people realize that diabetes is bad for the kidneys, but they don't understand the why behind it. It starts with insulin resistance. When your cells stop responding to insulin, your body pumps out even more of it to compensate. This flood of insulin tells your kidneys to hold on to sodium instead of flushing it out. More sodium means more water retention, and suddenly your blood volume goes up, driving your blood pressure through the roof. It is a vicious cycle where your metabolism and your filtration system are stuck in a destructive loop. This brings us to the blowout factor. If you are in that borderline zone, your nephrons are already fragile. Imagine a balloon that is already thin. If you try to pump too much air into it, it pops. That is exactly what high blood pressure does to your kidneys. It hits those tiny, microscopic filters with so much force that they eventually scar and die. This is why the standard 140/90 isn't good enough anymore. If you see your kidney numbers shifting, you need to be aggressive. You should be aiming for a target of 130/80 or even lower. Every point above that is like adding more pressure to a pipe that's already starting to leak. Managing your blood sugar isn't just about avoiding a sugar high. It is about taking the physical weight off your kidneys so they don't literally burst under the pressure of your own blood flow. Supplements and lifestyle. If you are looking to go beyond just monitoring and actually want to fortify your kidneys, we have to look at the cellular level. This is where high-quality omega-3 fatty acids come into play. Your kidneys are prone to chronic, low-grade inflammation that eats away at the filter over time. Omega-3s act like a cooling system, dampening that inflammation and keeping the blood vessels flexible. Then there is CoQ10. Think of your kidney cells as some of the most energy-hungry parts of your body. They are packed with mitochondria, the tiny power plants of the cell. CoQ10 acts as a shield for these power plants, ensuring they don't burn out from oxidative stress. When your filters have better batteries, they can handle the workload of filtration much more effectively. However, no supplement can outrun a bad night of sleep, and I'm specifically talking about sleep apnea. This is the hidden kidney killer no one talks about. If you are snoring or stopping breathing at night, your blood oxygen levels drop. This state of hypoxia sends a panic signal to your kidneys, causing them to spike blood pressure and release stress hormones. It is like trying to run a marathon while holding your breath. If your kidneys aren't getting oxygenated blood for 8 hours every night, they will deteriorate regardless of how well you eat. Protecting your kidneys means looking at the big picture, cooling the inflammation with the right fats, fueling the cells with antioxidants, and making sure you are actually breathing properly while you rest. A 30-day action plan. Now, let's get practical. You have the borderline result. So what do you do tomorrow morning? First, don't panic over one single lab report. Your kidneys are sensitive to everything from what you ate the night before to how much water you drank that morning. The gold standard for a real diagnosis is the 3-month rule. You need at least 2 tests, spaced 90 days apart, to see if those numbers are a fluke or a trend. During those 90 days, your mission is to find your hydration sweet spot. For most people, that's between 1.5 and 2 liters of water. Too little dehydrates the filters, but chugging 5 liters can actually flush out necessary electrolytes and put its own kind of stress on the system. Finally, you need to change the way you talk to your doctor. Don't just ask, "Am I okay?" because they might say yes just because you aren't in total failure yet. Ask for the specifics. Ask for a cystatin C test. This is a much more accurate marker of kidney function than the standard creatinine test because it isn't affected by your muscle mass or your diet. Ask about your ACR levels to check for protein leaks. By walking in with a plan and asking for these specific, deeper tests, you shift the dynamic. You are no longer a passive patient waiting for bad news. You are the CEO of your own health, catching a problem while it's still small enough to fix. You walked in today with a borderline number, but you are leaving with a blueprint for a comeback. Those middle ground results aren't a life sentence. They are a rare open window of opportunity. Your kidneys have been quietly doing the heavy lifting for years, and now they are simply asking for a little backup. By cleaning up the hidden salt, swapping out some heavy proteins, and watching your pressure, you aren't just avoiding a clinic, you are choosing a future where you stay in control. The power to flip the script is entirely in your hands. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something new from this video. Now, don't let this vital information disappear by pushing the subscribe button and the bell to keep your health winning.